Cheap alternatives that promise full-body red light therapy often turn out to be flimsy blankets with a handful of low-power LEDs that barely warm the surface, let alone reach the deeper layers you're hoping to treat. I was skeptical too, because the last time I bought a cheap light pad it barely lit up and the timer stopped working after a week. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first saw the Nutcity extra-large red light therapy mat, the size alone caught my eye. It's big enough to lie on like a yoga mat, which is something most compact pads simply can't deliver. That size promise felt like a genuine attempt to solve a real problem. Most people who want whole-body benefits end up cobbling together multiple smaller devices, which is a nightmare to set up and keep track of. The first thing I wanted to know was whether the mat could actually fit into a typical bedroom or living room space without becoming an eyesore, and how easy it would be to fold it away after use. The mat measures roughly 75 inches long and 33 inches wide, so it spans the width of a queen-size bed with a little room to spare. In practice, that means you can place it on the floor, lay a thin sheet or towel on top, and lie down fully covered. No awkward angles, no need to prop the device on a chair. The fabric feels like a sturdy polyester blend, and the LEDs are embedded behind a smooth, skin-friendly surface that doesn't snag on clothing. When you turn it on, the whole surface lights up evenly. There are no bright spots or dark corners that you sometimes see with cheaper mats where the LEDs are bunched together. One of the practical strengths of this mat is the 3 therapy modes: constant, 10 Hz pulsed, and 40 Hz pulsed. I tested them during a typical week of use. The constant mode feels like a gentle, steady warmth that's easy to fall asleep under, so I used it for evening sessions after a long day at the desk. The 10 Hz pulsed mode gave a subtle rhythmic flicker that seemed to increase my sense of circulation, which I noticed when I used it after a lower body workout. My calves felt less sore after the session. The 40 Hz mode is a bit more intense. It felt like a deeper, more focused pulse that helped me when I was targeting a specific joint, like my shoulder after a heavy lifting day. The ability to switch between modes without unplugging the mat is a real convenience, especially for people who like to tweak their routine based on how they feel that day. Intensity is another area where the mat shows its worth. There are 5 levels, labeled P1 through P5, and they actually correspond to measurable power output. In my experience, P1 feels like a warm lamp, perfect for a short 5-minute wake-up session in the morning. By the time you get to P4 or P5, the heat is noticeable but not uncomfortable, and the light penetrates deeper, which is what you need for skin rejuvenation or joint relief. The mat also includes a built-in timer that you can set from 5 to 30 minutes, so you don't have to keep checking a phone or a separate clock. The timer shuts the LEDs off automatically, which is a safety net for anyone who might fall asleep mid-session. Now, let's talk about the hidden trade-offs. The biggest one is power consumption. Because it packs 2,570 high-density LEDs, the mat draws a decent amount of electricity, especially at the higher intensity settings. If you're planning to run it every night at P5 for 30 minutes, you'll notice a modest bump on your electric bill. That's not a deal breaker for most, but it's worth knowing if you're trying to keep energy use low. Another nuance is the heat generated. While most users appreciate the gentle warmth, the mat can become warm enough that you might need a thin sheet between it and your skin if you have very sensitive skin or if you're using the higher settings for longer periods. The manufacturer markets it as skin-friendly, but that term really means the surface won't irritate. It doesn't eliminate the thermal effect. Who should buy this? If you're someone who already uses red light therapy for skin health, muscle recovery, or chronic joint pain, and you've been frustrated by having to reposition small pads to cover different body parts, this mat is a logical upgrade. It's also a good fit for athletes who want a full body session after training, or for anyone who enjoys a nightly ritual of lying down, relaxing, and letting the light work its way into the deeper tissues. The size makes it especially appealing for couples who want to share a session. You can simply lie side by side, and each of you gets the same exposure. Who should skip it? If you're looking for a portable solution you can toss into a backpack for a quick 5-minute boost while traveling, the mat's dimensions make it less convenient than a handheld wand or a small, foldable panel. Likewise, if you have